So who's joining over there? Welcome everybody who is joining to this live here. Officially, we got something from ASUS. If you don't know who I am, I'm Chris Mizo. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, I typically do long format videos on YouTube, and I also do some short formats. You can also find me on places like X, and I'm also on TikTok and Instagram as well. Not too active on Instagram. It's a much harder platform for me to spread any type of message, but you will definitely see me on YouTube a lot if you're not on there. And I'm also new on Twitch. Thank you everybody in the Twitch community who is checking this out, because I'm excited to see what is inside. I want to hear what your guesses are and what this package exactly is, because I don't quite know. I hope everybody likes my Dragonite here. He's gonna be here on the side watching. And I don't know where my dog went. As you see my logo, he is a big part of this community as well. And it's funny because that's what inspired a lot of the PC building stuff. He actually sleeps right next to a PC all the time. But I'm sure he'll pop in at any moment. So without further ado, we can open this up. Now we just need the right item. Now it's interesting, it looks like it had a very interesting time getting here. It's pretty bulged out, but thanks to ASUS for bringing this package over here safely, and I'm sure they packed it well. But what exactly could be inside? Originally, I thought, what originally it was gonna be, especially for the weight, it's about 11 or 12 pounds. I thought it was gonna be a monitor, but it's obviously a little bit too small to be one. It could be a motherboard, it could be any type of PC component. It could be a graphics card. Wouldn't it be something if it was a RTX 50 series finally arriving? Because I've been having such a pain trying to get it, and I'm sure everybody else out there who is having trouble trying to get the 50 series. It's just been dead quiet over the weekend. Even today, I didn't see any of those package deals from Newegg. Those $6,000 or $7,000 package deals where you get that Wi-Fi 7 router where it's like $700 or $800 with it, which is pretty insane. And it comes with all types of things like motherboards. Hey, what's going on? The screen's kind of far from me, so forgive me for not seeing your name right. I think it says well, welcome. Hi, what's going on? Welcome to this unboxing, because we don't know what's in here, but I'll show you the height of it. So it looks like this, and it's a decent width. And if you were to guess, it is in a 20 by 12 by 12 box. Hey, what's going on out there? Happy to see you've joined. Now the monitor, I apologize if I can't see your username too far. I should really make the font a lot bigger. It's about a good 15 feet away from me. Let me see if I can do that. But I want to hear your guesses to see exactly what this is. I was really excited. Originally, I thought this was going to come Friday, but there's supposed to be more stuff, I think, coming in. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's pretty soon. Hopefully it will be soon, because I'm going to be doing a lot more unboxings. I hope you're excited to see what's inside, because I certainly am. I love PC components as much as everybody else does out there. Maybe it's the RX 9070, maybe we got lucky. But obviously there ain't gonna be any real drivers for it yet. Oh, okay, I can see you guys in here now. Go C6, Spider-Man lover. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you are part of to see what is inside. Take a guess. I got to show from this angle in the vertical format. I mean, take a guess what that could be. It might be a hard guess, because originally I thought they were going to ship a monitor. It was about 11 to 12 pounds. This package is 11 to 12 pounds, or they shipped it as 11 to 12 pounds. So I can't really say for certain exactly what it is. it doesn't really feel it, but I could be wrong. It could be more weight than I think it is. So if you're having a great day so far, make sure you put a 1. If you're not having a great day, go to 2. Yes, Spider-Man lover, you are correct. It is. You think it's a PC? It could be. You think it could be a laptop in here? Because, I mean, take a look at the length of this box. Because we honestly have no idea what is in here. It possibly could be a PC. What do you guys think over there? Because I would love to hear from you guys. So I got one PC so far. Could it be a, I don't know, what else PC components do we got? Could it be a processor? Nah, can't be, right? Not in this big box. That would be insane. Why would they put so much packaging for a processor? And it is ASUS that sent it, so it is a good guess. Take a good guess on what it is, because we all have no idea. So let's see what's in here. I'm gonna grab something. I'm gonna start tearing this up. Are you guys ready to start seeing what is inside? Welcome everybody who is just joining. And I hope you're having an awesome day so far. So I'm gonna open from this side here. So you guys can see it there. You guys could see it right in the camera as well. So that is one seal open. Almost, I'm using this flathead screwdriver. It's not the best tool. I don't know where my knife went. But when you get excited for opening PC parts here, you'll find anything to open up a box, because you just want to know what it is. Hey, what's going on, Dave? Yeah, we're all excited here. All right, so we're gonna flip over this side now, and we're going to cut that. Let's see. It really sucks to cut with a screwdriver. It never feels just as right as a knife, right? Because then you always have that one piece of tape that is sticking and it just doesn't want to open. And of course, it's going to be that little piece that prevents you from opening the box. And that is irritating. I know everybody has gone through that before. So now we're going to open up the front side here. Oh, I love the sound of tearing tape, as odd as that sounds. It's like a whole, kind of reminds you of Christmas in a way, right? Hear that pop? All right. I see some green bubbles here. Anybody want to take a guess so far? I see a little something. I see a little bit of something here. Good. Oh, it's packed pretty deep. It is packed pretty deep in here. So you ready to see what this is? I don't have any sound effects on my stream, unfortunately, but I can certainly do a drum roll for everybody out there, because we gotta see what is in here. All right, so let's open this up, and wow. Okay, so this is what it is so far. So we got a AIO. It is the ASUS Prime LC360 ARGB LCD. Bet you guys didn't know they had a Prime version. So the best part about this one here is that you can get this for a much better deal compared to say the Ryujin 3, because the Ryujin 3 is up there in price. And don't worry, that is not the only thing that is inside the box. There is more. So I will definitely open this up. I will do an unboxing for this, but let me know if you'd rather have me do this unboxing live, or if you'd rather see it a full video with all different sorts of fancy angles. Let me know down in the comments down below, or feel free to say what you want to say. And but to get an idea of how dope this cooler is that it actually features a 2.3-inch LCD screen. So you can actually, if you can see it right there, let me get that angle right there. You can see it right there. You can actually customize it fully. And I'll do it right there for the vertical live here. And it does have ARGBs, so you can definitely set that up. It's very easy to set up, and this has to be set up with, there's actually a bunch of different programs. You don't have to necessarily use you don't have to use Armory Crates. I know not everybody is a big fan of it, but there is other software out there that you can certainly do it with if you want to set it that way. But this is what is inside the box so far. And the best part is it's just like its bigger sister, it does have magnetic fans on here. So you don't have to worry about any cables or anything like that. No mess, it just sticks magnetically. So that's much more less cables for you to set up. Isn't that nice and fancy? All right, so let's see what else is in the box over here, because there is more. So of course, we got paper. It's pretty annoying. We're gonna put that to the side. And we got bubbles, and we got more bubbles here. Anybody want to take a guess of what this could be down inside of this box here? Because again, this is a pretty deep box. Does anybody want to take a guess out there? Let me put this up here real quick. Oops, let me put that there. Okay, I want to hear something. I want to hear what you guys think it is, because it could be anything. We have a CPU cooler here. We have a AIO here. So there is certainly going to be a PC build coming up very shortly. If you guys would love to see a PC build in a live version of it, let me know. Feel free to put it in the comments, because I love hearing from you guys too. Or I could just do a whole video on it. This will certainly be more of a budget build for anybody out there who is looking to build a PC, especially in 2025. You could definitely do it. It's certainly doable. You don't have to get the RTX 5090. It is an insane price for a RTX 5090. And again, it has all its flaws. And no, I'm not hating, because I am trying to pursue and still get one. But could that be what is inside of this box here? Because we have really great things from ASUS here. We have their AIO cooler, their ASUS Tough cooler. And again, you can get this for a magnificent price compared to the Ryujin 3 or their larger version, the XL, which is insane. And you can still enjoy a nice AIO without spending so much money. And for all those, we all know that a lot of these LCD coolers, when you do get them for your CPU, sometimes they run into issues. You get display issues, or the cooler's not working correctly, or they're more noisy than you want. But we're gonna see exactly how this AIO is going to perform thanks to ASUS. Now, let's see what else is in here. For everybody just joining, I did not fully unbox what is in here. There is more stuff, and we're gonna see what is inside. I am just going over, for everyone that is just joining, thank you for joining. I'm Chris Mizo. I usually love to talk about PC and tech. ASUS did provide us with this wonderful mystery box, because we don't know exactly what is inside it. We certainly got something good out of it. We did get one piece out of it, because again, this is the box right behind it, and there is more stuff. So it is a large box, so you can take a guess on what that is. And we did get this CPU cooler, and I'm going to pull out what's next here. So let's see what else we find back here, and here it is. We got the Tough Gaming B850. Especially for those who want to do some sort of PC build. This is an awesome one you can get, certainly, for a great deal. This is not as expensive, nearly as expensive, as any of the X870e boards, and you know how crazy it's gotten, especially with the pricing when it comes to building PCs. Now, this is the Tough Gaming. This is the B850 Plus. So you can certainly max out a lot of games. You can play some great titles with no issues. You can, for all those who are worried about playing games such as the new Monster Hunter Wilds, you can certainly do it with a board like this. It is more than capable. And the best part, it has all the features for the, it has all the features just like the X870e does. It even has, there's only slight variations and slight differences compared to the two, because a lot of the ROG X870e boards, or any X870e boards for that matter, such as the AORUS Master or MSI, they all have some extra features that you're not gonna honestly fully utilize. Not everybody wants to fully utilize it. You just wanna get a PC for gaming? Well, this motherboard is a great choice to go, and you can get it for a really great price. It saves your money in your pocket because on top of it, you can get better PC components. You get two ASUS tough parts right here, such as the AIO and this motherboard here, and you pay much less because you can definitely expand your money and get more parts. You could choose to get a more expensive GPU if you'd like, but again, if you are on a certain budget, yeah, okay, the RTX 5090. Let me know if you find it, because I will find you to get the 5090 because it has been quite insane. But let me see. There might be more in this box here. Again, it was a 12-pound box. And for everyone who is just joining, so far what is in the box? We got the AIO. We got ASUS's AIO, the tough. It's a full 360. You get a full 2.3-inch LCD display with it. And on top of it, you get this B850 Plus Wi-Fi. This is a great motherboard. You could certainly have... What's going on, Kevin? Welcome back. It was great to see you on Saturday. I'm glad you're joining the stream. You gotta let me know your thoughts, Kevin. Take a look at this motherboard. That's what we've received so far. And we did get this nice AIO here, right? Yeah, so hopefully we get more inside of this box. I know there's more that's coming down this week for certain. And I am excited to see what it will feature. Now, if you don't know, of course, the new AM5 boards have PCIe 5, and it also has DDR5, so you can definitely play games with no issues. There is no cap when it comes to gaming, when it comes to ASUS especially. The best part is if you use their ports here, when you use their brushless technology, you're getting the full capabilities of DDR5, and you won't run into issues. You won't have any buffering problems. You will get 100% gameplay for a great deal, especially when it comes to their tough gaming line. Sorry about that. Ooh, but it's just my excitement going off because it does also have Wi-Fi 7 in this motherboard as well. So if you don't have a Ethernet capable connection, or if you're not close to one for some reason, I always prefer the direct connection anyway, you can certainly take advantage of Wi-Fi 7 speeds. They're a lot more quicker, 100% more quicker than Wi-Fi 6, because instead they combine the bands and you get a much more stable connection that way. So you don't have to worry about as much lag. Also, with this as well, you do have a lot of the newer technology that ASUS does give you, where it is hands-free. Absolutely. The hardline is 100% the best. It's like, if you look at this, you feel like a tough guy. You honestly do. It is an awesome line here. It'd be even more dope if I could get this tough RTX card out here, or the RX 9070. Which one are you? Are you more of the fan of NVIDIA's right now, or are you more of a fan of AMD right now? Because it has been wild, and I'm sure you heard the stories. I talked about it over the weekend. Kevin knows, he was there. It was just wild. I was just so pissed at what was going on with the situation when it comes to the RTX cards. It's just been ridiculous. Also, with this motherboard, the best part is when you install these NVMe, when you install these NVMe solid state drives in these motherboards here, they are toolless. You don't have to worry about having a mini screwdriver. You don't have to drop that tiny M2 screw. That's annoying. Those little tiny M2 screws, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can easily just pop it off as a large cooler on there, and then it just clicks on. That easy. It is that awesome to install a SSD. You really honestly don't need no tools besides grounding the motherboard, because you got to do that at least. Otherwise, you're bound to run into issues. But I am certainly excited to see what is in here and show you what the capabilities of this motherboard, because it certainly is one of the best motherboards you can get when it comes to gaming, when it comes to playing any game like Kingdom Come 2, or you won't have any issues playing games such as Monster Hunt Wilds. Yes, good question, Kevin. This is going to be a new budget build that I plan on building. Excuse me. I gotta hear from you guys what type of processor you want to see in this type of motherboard. Because if we're doing more of a budget build, I'm obviously not gonna go after something like a 9950 X3D. And besides, I honestly don't think the value is there, especially for one 3D V cache on top of the cache. It just doesn't make sense. If it has two CCDs, it would make a lot more sense in 3D V cache. But hopefully Zen 6 will do something different along those lines. It would be nice. Yeah, I know what you mean. Because the thing is, when it comes to AMD, I would say, if you were to go AMD side and you wanted to do a build, it's always recommended to get the 3D processors, because then you get a little bit of extra L3 cache. That's what you're really looking for when it comes to those processors. Now, if you can always go with the lower scale ones, like yeah, they certainly did. AMD has certainly stepped up their game a whole lot when it comes to their side. AMD has been really amazing. And originally I thought it was a mistake for NVIDIA. And until NVIDIA got, yes, they certainly did. And I thought it was a mistake that AMD didn't show up January. At CES 20, they showed up, but they just didn't show off their GPU. Because we were all expecting something from AMD, especially when it comes to their new graphics cards. They even had slides and everything ready for it, but they chose not to show it off, really. The funny thing is, they did show like a snippet of some things, like their RDNA 4, but they didn't really go into depth about their actual graphics cards. And again, if you're interested in AMD's graphics cards, they are going to do an announcement this upcoming week on the 28th. I believe it falls on a Friday this week. But AMD will officially announce their RX 9070 and their RX 9070 XT. So if you are looking for those graphics cards, they certainly will have a lot to announce. So let me bring this down some, because I probably look crazy right now with all these boxes here. And let me see. Kevin, so you still got NVIDIA GPU with your current build, but you did consider AMD. Nothing wrong with, I gotta tell you, there is nothing else in here. But I gotta say, when it comes to Intel, there is nothing wrong with their processors. I'll tell you right off the bat. So if you are thinking of some sort of Intel build, just go ahead and do it. I just don't recommend the 15th gen. I certainly think the upcoming this year, if they do it, their newer, I think it's their 18A. They're calling it now. It's very competitive to TSMC's 2 nanometers. their 2 nm chipset, which is pretty insane. I think the biggest thing was that they were able to match their density. Because they're able to match the density, they're able to actually compete against somebody like AMD if they're using the 2 nm chipset. But if you guys haven't heard, recently, Apple has announced that they are going to continue TSMC, but they're going to use the fabs over here in the US and Arizona. I know Intel is trying to gain some trust back. I think they're hoping to get some sort of, I'm thinking they're trying to gain back what they used to be. They want to become that powerhouse that they used to be. I gotta ask you, Kevin, which gen processor do you have from Intel? Because I feel like anything from the Intel LG A1700, their motherboards, they are excellent. The 12, yes, you have an excellent, I actually love that processor. That's the Alder Lake 12900K. They are a great processor to have. They run nice and cool. They don't run hot at all. I think I remember when I had the 12900K here, and when we did that build together, I averaged probably about like maybe 36 or 37 degrees Celsius when it came to just idle. And even when you're gaming on it, it really does not burn hot at all. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's nice and cool, Kev. Definitely. And the best part about Intel, it's like it gets no load at all when it comes to any type of gaming here. When it comes to a PC build, I'm really curious when it comes how Intel will be, especially when it comes to their newer graphics cards, because the Battle Mage is quite amazing. It would be nice if Intel became a little bit more, oh yeah, full bench is about 78C. That's still excellent. That's still pretty nice and cool compared to a lot of processors out there, because more and more they're running more hot because of the wattage that they use. I know like the newer Intels, like I know the 14th gen and the 13th gen, they can run a bit high. And I'm sure you heard the different issues about them. Yeah, nice. 56 degrees. That is perfect. Are you running your bench on a Cinebench? You're doing that type of bench, or are you doing a type of gaming test? Is it, or a gaming benchmark that you're getting those type of temps? I'm assuming it's Cinebench. But yeah, so far this is what we have. We have the ASUS Prime. We have the LC360 CPU cooler, OGPUX. Gotcha. That's still a very hot benchmark for a lot of PCs out there. But that's awesome that you're getting those temps. And but that's what we got so far. We got the CPU cooler from ASUS that we will do our budget build with the B650 plus Wi-Fi motherboard here. It is a AM5 board, so we will find the right processor for this. We're just gonna try to figure out, since we did a 9800 X3D build, more than likely we're gonna find a more budget-friendly one, because you can still get a decent processor out there. You could still get, like, say, a 9600X for a really good deal, and it will run excellent when it comes to gaming. It will still run at full power without issue. And you still can get almost just like, you could really get max specs if you wanted to, say if you upgraded the graphics card, but you're not looking for that. You're looking for the smoothest, you're looking for perfect capability when it comes to gaming. And these motherboards and cooler will certainly do it. If you're new to this channel, if you're just coming in, I'm just finished unboxing one of the items here. I'm not gonna unbox this stuff yet, not yet at least, because I want to do a more thorough and more in-depth video about it. So I could either do that on live, I could go stream it if you prefer that, or I could just make a long format video. And if you prefer the more clear, crisp camera angles, certainly let me know. I will put a lot of focus more on that and the different features that they both have, because we have the LC360 and we certainly have the B850 motherboard here. Great motherboard, and you could certainly get full capability and without issue any type of gaming. You certainly can do some, you can have some great settings here to where you're gonna have a great time when it comes to any type of game, for sure. Unfortunately, we did not get the graphics card in just yet. I am trying, I am really trying. I'm not too sure which graphics card it's gonna be just quite yet. I am in constant contact with the people at ASUS, great people, and I'm also trying to reach some others that are, see if we can get one in. I don't know if you guys would rather see a RTX 5070 in here, or you prefer a RX 9070. Some of you guys, just like earlier, somebody just yelled out they preferred to see an RTX 5090 on this build, but the RTX 5090 is probably the size of this AIO, probably larger. But they do have a tough version of it, ASUS does, and it's certainly a lot more smaller compared to the Astro ROG, where it has 4 fans, which is pretty insane. Now, yes, the 5070 Ti is definitely the best deal out the bunch. Now, if you could always go for the $600 one. More than likely, if you do get a AIB, such as the tough version of the 5070, it's probably going to be $650. So it's $100 less, but you can always get the 5070 Ti for $100 more if that is what you prefer. And personally, I think either one's a great choice. It all depends on your budget. So unless you want to spend another $3,400 on a RTX 5090, again, that's probably going to outprice this build alone. Just that GPU alone will outprice this build. But if you want to keep it under a certain budget, let me know, and I will try to work with that budget the best way I can. Yes, if I can only get that, we will. But I will certainly try to contact ASUS and try to get a couple more things from them. I know this isn't the only package that is coming in this week. There is going to be more. It might be, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be 2 more packages that will be here, or it's either 1 or 2. I don't know if they're going to either pack one large package or if they're just going to do just 2 separate boxes here. But we can definitely expect a lot more things, especially for this upcoming build. Now, is there any type of case that anybody wants to see? Because that would certainly make a difference when it comes to builds. Some people prefer more of a, well, mostly a lot of cases are mid-case. Do you prefer the height 870, but they're a little bit more in the high end, or you prefer looking more in a budget case to where you're only spending maybe 70 or 80 bucks, and we could get a decent case for this motherboard and this AIO? Feel free to always have some suggestions. Oh yeah, see, the ROG Hyperion is a very beautiful case, but definitely on the high end of things. That's probably more than these 2 items put together. Yeah, I agree. That's a $500 case. So can you imagine if I tried to request a case from ASUS saying, hey, I want to do a budget build, but I want your Hyperion case to go along with it. I wonder how well they would take that. I don't think it would go over too well because it wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. But it would be awesome to definitely do one. That would be on the high end of the spectrum when it comes to PC building. But what's really awesome about ASUS's Hyperion case, if you haven't seen it, it does feature 2 USB-C ports on it, which is on the front of it. Now, that's not just one, they actually have 2 USB-C ports on the front of it. Now, more than likely, it's going to become more standard in the future, but as of now, it's not as standard for a USB-C. Well, you'll have at least 1, but not 2 of them. That is one of the bigger features of it, and it's very modifiable, which is nice. You can actually put different settings in there. It's a really large case on top of it. It's not just a mid case, it's actually a tall tower. So it's definitely a case that you could certainly have a lot of flexibility, and it is quite beautiful but a massive case on top of it, which is, so even if you wanted to mix in, say, like a NAS system, yeah, it practically is. I mean, if I was to put the Hyperion, like if I was to show you the case, it's going to be like, that's like the size of a mid-tower case, right? Now, if you put the Hyperion, it's more like, probably like this. That's about right. It's probably about that tall, if you were to look at the Hyperion case. But yeah, definitely check that case out if you want something really, really large. And the best part about having a large case is you don't have to have any squeezing. It's really easy to cable manage. It's 100% huge. It is. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw FedEx out there bring it with a dolly. That's how large the case is. There's no way they're going to carry it, because I can't. If that's how large the case is, just imagine how large the actual box is, like to sit it in. It's going to be humongous. And you got to check this upcoming build. I'm really excited for you guys to check this out. And again, it's a B850 Plus motherboard that ASUS does a great job when it comes to gaming. This is specifically made for gaming, and it's much more of the budget-friendly side. So you can certainly still build a PC with a great budget. Same thing with this. You didn't think you could get a decent AIO? You certainly can. You can get the ASUS Prime 360, and it has a LCD cooler and a 2.3-inch display. It is a great combination of the two, and it's going to be a beautiful build. I mean, just look at the colors. It's going to have that almost like how do I say, more like a space look. It's going to look pretty dope when it's all together. I'm excited for this build. Now, if one of you guys out there could tell me if you could find a RTX 50 series, that would be nice. Or hopefully one gets sent to my house. That would be also great. Hopefully ASUS is out there listening, because it's been pretty tough to run some tests without a 50 series card here. Or get the RX 9070 XT. That would be awesome for a build like this. And you don't have to spend as much money on it. I hope you don't have to. But the official announcement, yeah, it's a pain. How many of you out there, just send the emoji out there, how many of you out there are trying to get the RTX 50 series, specifically the 5090? How many of you out there, just put your hands up, the emoji or whatever. Or you can put whatever you want. You can put one, and they'll let me know that you're looking for it, because I know it's quite insane trying to do it. Because I have all my stock alerts, even trying to contact ASUS themselves is pretty tough. If you have a budget for building a PC, which one is, I'd say if you are looking for a budget for building a PC, the most important thing is to get the graphics cards when it comes to gaming. That's funny. But yeah, you want to look for more of the graphics cards. That is the most important. Yes, exactly. The GPU is 100% more of the important part when it comes to PC building, especially when it comes to gaming. Because say you get the best CPU and you get a mid-tier GPU, you're not really going to get the full potential. It's not going to be there. You just don't have the graphical power. That's the whole point of the GPU. Yeah, 100% get the GPU. It's definitely the best item to get when it comes to a gaming PC. And you can certainly save a lot, especially when it comes to building, because the GPU is the essential part. You want to focus, everything else comes last, you can say. But the GPU is the most critical part. Just get a motherboard powerful enough, just like the B850. That's why 100% I recommend it. No problem run. And that's why I 100% recommend it. Definitely go say if you wanted to do a budget build, again, just like what Kevin's saying, RTX 5070 Ti will suffice for many people out there, especially for those who are playing games such as Fortnite and Call of Duty 6, the Black Ops 6, or if you're playing Monster Hunter Wilds, you're not gonna have any real issues. You're not really trying to go for the whole frame generation as much. I mean, you certainly can. Now, there was, just like what Jensen Huang was saying, he was comparing the 5070 and the RTX 4090. Is it really there? Can they really compete? Honestly, I have to say this, and this may not be a spoiler alert for everybody out there, they are not really comparable. RTX 4090 will 100% beat out a RTX 5070. Just to let you know, it will 100% beat it out in raw power. Now, if you're comparing artificial frames and the transformer of the RTX 5070, it might compete, but it's not going to be true power. Because, again, you're going to have its certain limits. You have the VRAM, you have CUDA cores. They all matter when it comes to power, when it comes to a GPU. So you want to make sure to get a decent graphics card. A RTX 5070 Ti would certainly suffice for many budget gamers out there, and you will be 100% happy. It will be 10 times more powerful than that PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X. You'd be surprised, and you won't spend as much money. Yes, I agree. Nothing is 100% budget friendly, Kevin, especially now, because the way things are, or the way things are looking, there are tariffs and everything that are affecting pricing, so certainly look out for it. I was asked over the weekend about that, about how the tariffs are affecting everything, and if you haven't noticed, they already are in effect. It actually happened as soon as February 1st. That's how quick the tariffs actually came in. So technically right now, you are seeing some price corrections already for when it comes to I just got the alert for a 5090 combo in stock. Isn't that insane? Now, I guarantee you, I mean, the blackout in that whole thing, but yeah, that's not looking too good. It's probably a $7,000 combo right there. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt it because 100% the bots. But here on live, I can tell you right now, there is some combos up of a RTX 5090 or Newegg. So definitely look out for it if you're trying to get your hands on it. But I am not going to try to force my hand to get one. 100% doesn't make sense for a build like this. The only thing I would, yeah. You don't want to spend 7K on it. But it does come with a Wi-Fi 7 router, so if you're a big fan of routers out there, you can get one. It's like and I know Kevin knows exactly what I'm talking about. The ASUS router out there, it's like $700 or $800 for the Wi-Fi 7 router, but it is awesome. It has every single bell and whistle. You can easily set up your VPN and everything in the router. It is a great router. But I don't know if you're looking for, yes, they are. I don't know if you're looking for that router. It's crazy to be willing to spend the money. But I mean, if you have a lot of Wi-Fi 7 devices, you certainly can take advantage of it. Not everything is Wi-Fi 7, not yet at least. But I gotta say, do you guys think the Switch 2 will have Wi-Fi 7? But because that would be more interesting, and supposedly that's rumored to be like $400 to $500 too, the Switch 2, but we'll see in due time, because again, the $500 pricing when it comes to the Switch 2, that's more or so if it comes with the whole tariffs, if that whole rumor is true. So Nintendo, don't come looking for me, because 100% just a rumor. There you go, I said, just a rumor, Nintendo. But yes, you gotta get a ASUS motherboard, such as the Tough Gaming line. And again, you probably don't know these exist, but they are excellent. The LC360 ARGB 360 coolers, they are nice. They have a decent display on them as a 2.3-inch display where you can set and customize exactly how you want it. You can set temperature, you can set airflow, you can set a lot of different things when it comes to this cooler. But definitely take advantage of it. And the same with the B850, has a lot of features just like the ROG X870e, a ton of features very similar to it that you can take advantage of it. One thing I gotta say though, is that the only difference when it comes to the B850 compared to the bigger sister is that it does have 2.5 gigabits Ethernet connection compared to the 10 gigabit connection. Now, for a lot of people out there, probably doesn't matter. You're probably not going at 10 gigabit speeds. So for those bunch of gamers out there, I know you're not spending money on a 10 gigabit internet, so you don't have to worry about it, but take advantage of your 2.5 gigabit internet. You can certainly do it. You can get it out the B850, 100% worth it. Yes, 10 gigabits is a lot. And I can't imagine how much money it is. I think if I heard correctly, to get 10 gigabit internet, it's like almost like $500 a month. It's a lot. It's like $500 a month, I think, to get 10 gigabits. But nobody, unless you're gonna be using it for some sort of business use or something, that would make sense. But yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna be willing to spend that much. Especially, you're not gonna, what's your latency gonna be like? 3? You're spending $500 with a 3 millisecond latency? Would that be worth it? But honestly, you will just be just as happy with a 2 gigabit internet. Most people, personally for me, for the internet that I use 1 gigabit. That's plenty for me and 100% worth the speeds. Unfortunately, around my area, I don't have yet. Oh yeah, but that's not bad actually. 500 megabits at $35 a month is not bad. I hope you guys have Fios out there. Definitely a lot better when it comes to the download and upload ratio. Because when it comes to using, yes, AT&T fiber is the way, 100% the way to go if you can get it. If AT&T fiber, there's T-Mobile fiber, I think Google fiber, and Verizon, Fios. That's another great one too. I used to have them, but unfortunately I ended up stuck in an area where it's all Comcast, blah. Yeah, so you can, I have 1 gigabit internet speed, but then my upload speeds is only like, I think it's like 20. It's like I got 1 gigabit internet, but got an upload speed of 20 gigabits. I'm not 20 gigabits, 20 megabits. That's yeah, that's terrible. I hate Comcast for that, and hopefully AT&T will expand into this area because it is just terrible. And for those out there, if you're just tuning in, I'm Chris Mizo. I do a lot of PC builds. Yes. And you know what's crazy too? The worst thing about the Comcast is that I actually got data capped by them because they said that I actually used too much internet. And all I did was download some games off of Steam. And it was just like, I think it was like probably like 7 or 8 games, but then it added up like nearly, it was like almost like, it was something ridiculous. And then I got a letter from Comcast saying that this is my final warning of using so much internet. Like I can only use up to like, I think it was 1 full gigabyte, not 1 full, only 1 terabyte of downloads, and that was it. If I did any more downloading than that, they would have to charge me. They would have to charge me like another $20 per gigabyte I would use, per gigabit that I would use for the internet, which is ridiculous. And certainly stay away from Comcast if you could. Go fiber, 100% fiber. You won't regret it. And it's much better. You eliminate a modem, which is the worst. You'll just have a straight up router, and that's all you need. But if you guys are just tuning in, I'm Chris Mizo here. I just unboxed what that mystery package was, and as you can see, I have this ASUS TUF B850 motherboard here. An excellent motherboard for those who do want to do a gaming PC on a budget and get the full capabilities of gaming on a 100% full modern PC. Now, these are some great items that you can certainly get. This AIO is an awesome choice too as well from ASUS. This is their LC360, so it's a full 360 millimeter radiator and a radiator, and you get it's water looped, a closed water loop, and on top of it you get a 2.3-inch display, and it's fully customizable. So you can certainly take advantage of that. It is just quite beautiful. Take a look at the back of it right here. That's how it looks. So for anybody out there who are thinking of AIOs, definitely a great choice. If you're like me right now, you can certainly get this because everyone is 100% aiming at the RTX 50 series because they are just about impossible to get. With what is he talking? With what? I'm sorry. What was I can't. With what is he talking there? I'm talking about, if you're not familiar with what I am talking about right now, I just unboxed the mystery PC gaming box there. Oh, if you're wondering why I'm looking at the other side, I have actually two streams going on. I have a vertical stream, and I do have a regular format display, which is the vertical and the horizontal. So I got two different ones. I got a phone up here, and I do got the typical regular stream going on. So that is why I'm looking at the other side. So I'm trying my best to look at both ways here. So that is what is going on. But take a look at that. So path to someone, let me know what side you are on. No problem. Yeah, so if you were wondering why I'm looking at two sides, I am certainly looking at two different directions here. I am looking at both a full, at the regular normal mode, which is the full widescreen stream, and I do have a vertical stream going on at the same time as well. So I do have, maybe it's better I said it like this. There you go. There you go. So now you got both things out. Now, I'm sure it's crazy how it looks in here, but I certainly got to make some room. If you take a look around this studio here, it's quite a mess. I got a PC sitting there on the floor. That's actually waiting on a graphics card. And I also have a PC setup that is running a RTX 4090, so it gets nice and toasty here. If you're looking for my other streams, if you're looking for my regular widescreen streams, I am also on YouTube on both formats, and I'm also on Twitch and on X as well. I believe you will see all the widescreen displays on Twitch and also on X as well. Yeah, so you'll certainly find me on there. So if you're not part of my followers on either Twitch or on X, feel free to follow me on there as well, for sure, because I would 100% appreciate it. I really thank you guys for joining the stream. Don't worry, I'm not going yet, because I still got plenty to talk about here. And I am still waiting for a couple more packages, if you guys are wondering. It should be sometime this week. I'm in constant contact with the inside people, so to say, into trying to get a 50 series here or a RX 9070 from AMD, try to get it here. I am working on that very hard, and hopefully we get one in soon, because I certainly would love it. I'll tell you what I won't love. I won't love if it melts on me. I certainly won't love that, because I'm working really hard to try to get it here. But if you guys do have a 50 series, just a recommendation here, or a 40 series that has the 12-volt high power port, or a 12-volt 2x6, if you have any of those graphics cards, don't use any really third-party ones. If you have a ATX 3 or ATX 3.1, if you're not sure which power supplies they have the same adapter as the 40 and the 50 series when it comes to the RTX cards. Now you want to use that same adapter and the same cable because you will be less likely to experience any type of burning or melting that way. Now, again, it's not 100% guaranteed, and I'm sure you guys heard about the issue with the guy who had a RTX 5090 on Reddit. Now, this has nothing to do with the cables or the adapters, actually. What it actually had to do with was the capacitor on the PCB. Again, it has nothing to do with ASUS or anything like that. It's, again, NVIDIA's PCB, and the capacitor ended up blowing up. Now, the PC didn't catch fire. It smoked a lot, apparently, but it did leave a nice scorch mark on his ASUS motherboard he also has. So it certainly caused some damage, and unfortunately, it's irreversible. So, of course, naturally, he has to have it replaced, both his GPU and his motherboard. Hopefully, everything else was more salvageable because, again, the GPU does take a large portion of your PC. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've seen people pick up a GPU and a motherboard. It's literally just like that now. The GPU is larger than the motherboard these days. And I wouldn't be surprised if cases will be required to look like more like an AC unit now. Can you imagine that? Running a nice cooled AC unit with a PC? Because it's getting to that point. It runs super hot. And you're talking about higher levels of heat at 525 watts. And you're running at, if you're overclocking, even if you're overvolting, you're just really pushing it. Some electrical engineers from Gigabyte actually said that they felt that it was too much for NVIDIA to run those cables at that type of power. Instead, it should have been limited at 325 watts. If they chose to do so, they should have had a split in power distribution, then it would make more sense. Because then you can get a decent split between two different voltages here. So that is something hopefully NVIDIA looks forward to. I wouldn't be surprised if when it comes to the Super Series, and again, just it's no point in trying to hurry up and get the best card. Certainly don't buy one from a scalper because you're not guaranteed to be able to get your warranty covered, especially if you bought it from a scalper, because they don't know if you bought it that way or not already as it is. So certainly don't go on eBay, don't go on Facebook Marketplace. Just try to go to your local Micro Center or try to purchase it online if you possibly can. It sounds funny as it is, but near impossible, we all know that. But you want to be able to purchase it from a retailer. Do not, again, I repeat, do not buy from a scalper. You're just, whether it be 3 to 6 months from now or even a year from now, you don't want to spend $6,000 on a card that ends up burning out on you, which can't even be warranted, unfortunately. Even though they say they provide the receipts, it's going to be hard to prove. Say you're just like in Florida, just like me over here, and then you try to claim that yes, you bought the GPU, the RTX 5090 from Chicago, Illinois. Sure, you can argue that you moved from there or whatever, but I'm sure they're going to want to see proof of it, and you don't want to end up in that situation. And again, it's 100% not worth it. In fact, they're saying the NVIDIA RTX 4090 is actually starting to beat the RTX 5090 in some raw power tests, which is pretty insane. So that just tells you alone that this card shouldn't be priced at $2,000, honestly. Actually, originally when they first came out with this card, I thought it made a lot of sense. I thought that they were going to do something different. I honestly thought that it was going to be a true revolution. Now I look ridiculous. Now I feel like an idiot for actually feeling like that, because I always thought NVIDIA is the best of the best. I always felt that way. And they certainly are a great company, but they're not worried about it as much. Yeah, you could get the water cooler they definitely have AIOs, and they have GPUs where they have actually a cooler on there, so you can run more of a open loop or a closed loop water system, so to say. So you can run either one with a radiator, similar to this. It would look similar to this, but with a GPU. You can, and it would run nice and cool, but it certainly isn't going to help the whole adapter part. So even though you get that system, it doesn't stop. It really doesn't stop the wattage from going to the card. So you can expect heat from that side. You can monitor it now. You can monitor the heat. They have an adapter to where you can actually see how much wattage is going through and what type of temperature is going to the card before it actually cools down. So ironically, you want to have, eventually they'll have water-cooled wires, which would be pretty funny. Can you imagine that? A water-cooled wire kit where you just put it between the wire and it just keeps it nice and cool? Make a lot of sense, but it's kind of dangerous at the same time because you don't want your GPU to short there. Yes, but certainly it has to do a lot with this 12-volt high power port, so that's a big issue, or the 12-volt 2x6, however you would like to call it. Definitely highly recommend a ATX 3 or a ATX 3.1 power supply and just run the cable that was stocked with it. Have I built the THRT1? I have not. It would be awesome if I did. I definitely would be willing to give it a shot. I built, now I've done a ton of builds. I've done a lot of the AM5s. I did the 7950X 3D, 7950X with you guys. And the TRT1, but no, I have not messed with that yet. Would love to, 100% love to, because that is what we do here. I can certainly try to make it happen. I will certainly add it to my list for sure. And I will certainly keep it down. But Xian, the crazy, thank you for mentioning it. I will certainly keep it down in my notes there for sure. Matter of fact, I will screenshot it just in case so I don't lose it. So there you go, perfect. I won't forget you. Now, again, if you're wondering why I'm looking, if you guys are just joining, why I'm looking at two different things, if you're wondering why I'm looking this way, I have a stream going on the regular format stream where it is on YouTube, Twitch, and it is on X. And I do have a regular, well, I have a vertical stream going on as well. A T1 AIO with the 9800X3D and the 5090FE. I have all the parts without the 5090, so it's hard to get a hold of. It certainly is. Now that's the biggest issue when it comes to it. It's going to be hard to get parts currently, unfortunately, but definitely keep trying to, you just gotta keep looking, and you certainly have to be on them. It's even hard, matter of fact, it's even hard to get parts like even on the inside. I'm trying to get these parts as much as I can. It's near impossible to get the RTX 5090. They're so swamped, everybody is, because there's so much going on with these cards. It's such a bad time when they did the release of the RTX 5090. It's nearly impossible to get these cards or any parts for it. So everybody, we are suffering just as much as everybody out there, unless you're a super big influencer where you have no problem getting the parts. Of course, then you won't have an issue. But for those who are just like more the regular side of things, just like I'm on the regular side, just like you guys, it is certainly impossible to get near anything, even with some inside information too. It's definitely hard to get anything. But I do have good news for everybody out there who is waiting for parts, or is not waiting for parts, but waiting for the RTX 50 series, especially the 5090. There's supposed to be more coming in on the week of March 14th. There's supposed to be a lot more, to the point where it's gonna make scalpers wish that they never bought the RTX 5090. Now, hopefully that holds true. We will certainly see when that happens, because that will certainly shift the market quite a bit if that does happen. I certainly hope it does. It would be really nice, because it's pretty annoying especially for everybody out there who is just trying to be able to enjoy gaming or be able to do some sort of content creation or be able to do what you want to do when it comes to with your graphics card. Especially what's really big now is AI learning. Everybody wants to get more involved with that. It's an excellent thing, excellent field to mess with because there is so much you can do with these cards. There's a lot of capabilities. Now, I do gotta say, if you're wondering, or if you're just joining and you're wondering what I received, I did get the LC, the ASUS Prime LC 360, and it is a RGB, and it does have a 2.3-inch LCD display. Can certainly do a budget build with this, a cooler, and it's definitely much cheaper compared to the ROG Ryujin 3, and it's just as good. Excellent material. Same thing with the ASUS B850 Plus. It's a great motherboard, and you can certainly have unlimited amounts of power when it comes to gaming. Definitely two great options here. Now, let me switch it around here so you guys can see it. And there you go. I wish I had something to push it up on the platform a bit, because then I could show you guys a little bit more, because everything's kind of set low. It was a bit hectic trying to get everything all together here, but hopefully you guys are excited for this build, because we're gonna definitely do a lot. If you have any ideas, maybe certainly I'll do RTX 5090 TR1 type of that type of build, but it won't be this build, obviously. It would be a whole different build, because we're gonna go a little bit more budget on this side here. It's going to be maybe a 7600, not 76, a 9600X, or maybe 9700X. We kind of want to go a little bit on the lower end, more of a friendly budget, because not everybody is going to have the extra money to spend. Now, if you want to spend all your money on an RTX 5090, it's a much better choice to do a build like this first, because that is what really matters the most anyway when it comes to a gaming PC. It doesn't matter as much as the motherboard or the type of processor that you really have, or it's mainly the GPU you want 100% focus on more, because that is what you don't want to bottleneck on. Now, of course, there's limitations and everything, but certainly with nowadays the B850 and a combination of, say, a 9700X would be excellent with a combination of a RTX 5070 Ti, and you will certainly get the playability, 100% way more playability than if it was on compared to a console like a PS5 or on a Xbox Series X. You will 100% enjoy it way more. You could play on ultra-wide. Who doesn't love playing on ultra-wide? Because once you go ultra-wide, it's hard to go back, honestly. Is the T30. It lowers the temps for up to 6 to 11 Celsius. Yeah, they are certainly great. What do you think of the upcoming AMD? I think they're going to be really awesome. They definitely came up a lot more short-handed than we thought originally. At first, it was really disappointing at CES to see that AMD didn't have that on display. They had the GPUs on display. It was confusing because you saw it there, you saw the RX 9070s and the RX 9070 XTs, but they didn't say anything. So it was really weird for them to show the GPUs. They had no specifications, but you didn't see the power adapters that they use. They do use the PCI Express. Some of them had up to 4. But the 4th one apparently is for overclocking from what I've heard. But I certainly think they are going to compete, and they have performed apparently on the elite benchmarks between 41 to 48% better compared to the 7800 XT, and this is just the RX 9070, not the RX 9070 XT. So I think it's going to be a very decent card. Hopefully the pricing is fair. and they have to really compete against NVIDIA's pricing now. It's more than likely going to have to compete between the RTX 5070 and the RTX 5070 Ti. Yes, it's 100% nice. I think it's going to be a great card. Definitely looking forward to it and hoping to get one of these cards coming in this week. Again, if you guys are just joining in, I'm Chris Mizo. Welcome in. Thank you for being part of the fan band, because there is supposed to be 2 more packages coming in this week. I'm not sure exactly what they are going to be. Hopefully one of them is a GPU. And do you know how many more supplies of the FE? Unfortunately, with the FE, I think it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a limited supply, but I can say, now if you guys haven't signed up and you are part of NVIDIA's program, you can actually sign up to try to get a RTX 5090, and it will be for the FE version. Now, I do mind this, like when it comes to the FE. Now, it is a great card, but it does run a bit hotter compared to those who have a AIB. It runs about like 20% hotter compared to AIB, because again, the AIBs are more modified for those who are more interested into factory overclock, or for those who want to overclock, just like the Astral has 4 fans on the GPU. And since I live in Norway, yeah, I see what you mean. But I mean, at least the best part about living in Norway, though, I gotta say, is at least it's a lot cooler there. When you're in a place like Florida, that 20% matters. It gets hot here, even with the AC running, I gotta say. But at least you get some decent temperatures there. But yeah, so for the FE, there is supposed to be some more coming in. Hopefully NVIDIA does distribute it out more into other areas such as Norway. Just be part of the NVIDIA program and you have a better chance of getting the card that way. Yeah. Yeah. And I bet your PC runs all way more cooler than my PC does, because my PC runs pretty hot here. And I'm running a 9800X 3D, and the normal temperature, the ambient temperature right now, it's probably about like, I'd say 79 to 80 degrees. I gotta get something to measure it in this studio alone, because it gets hot. I got 3 PCs in here, but only 2 of them are on. One's actually sleeping, the other one's completely off. So you can imagine how hot it could get if all these PCs are on. And then let alone with these studio lights, it makes it really hot. So it's definitely gets pretty hot in here. It gets toasty. So sometimes if you ever see me sweating my video, you're probably, and you're asking, why is he sweating so much? It's because it's freaking hot. It is hot. But so you can certainly expect a very decent build. And if you could 100% beat out PS5, Xbox Series X any day, if you get a B850 Plus Wi-Fi motherboard and you get a nice cooler such as this, it will disperse the heat much nicer. And this has a lot of awesome features in there. It has a lot of the quick releases where it's pretty much toolless. You don't have to really do any extra screwing or anything like that. You can actually, like installing the NVMe SSDs, they are really easy to install. They just pop in, they click in, it's really nice and easy. They have the thermal pads there. All you have to do is take off the laminate peeling for it and you can have it ready to go. And again, without tools. The RAM is of course easy enough as it is. The CPU is really nice and simple to install, especially on these AM5 boards. They show you exactly where to line up the CPU, which you will see within a week or 2, depending on when these other parts are coming in. For those who are just joining in, I am expecting 2 more packages coming up this week. If you missed the whole unboxing part, this is what was in it. It was a B850 Plus Wi-Fi motherboard, and it was, let me show it, switch it up there. That's what it looks like. And for the cooler, it was this right here, the Prime LC360 ARGB cooler. I am really curious to see if the capabilities, for those who are doing a PC build and wondering about what type of thermal paste to use, I highly recommend Arctic Silver. It's one of my favorite ones to use. You just put a very small pea size of a dot and it spreads nice and easy. Arctic Silver 5 is a great thermal paste to use. Thermal Grizzly is also great. They're coming out with all kinds of different thermal paste now, but those are my two recommended ones, highly recommended ones, I gotta say, for the most part. And also, I am waiting on a GPU. More than likely, I'm not going to put a RTX 5090 on this build. It wouldn't make any sense, especially for those who are on a budget to build a PC. You're not trying to spend all your money on RTX 5090 because it will 100% not be a balanced build. You will easily surpass this build if you buy an RTX 5090, especially if you go for a ASUS Astral, because that's like 3,400 USD for that card. So just these two parts alone are way less than that as it is. So we're gonna try to put a RTX 5070 or a RX 9070 XT, something pretty dope that will fit into this build and would make a lot of sense. You will get a lot of, you will hit the frames. It will be, you can get easily 120 frames, no problems if that's what you're looking for. You can go 144. It's, again, you don't need an RTX 5090 to run at max, 100% max settings. It's really honestly no point. In fact, the RTX 4090 has that type of capability as it is. RTX 5070 will certainly reach the levels of what most people will be happy with, especially the RTX 5070 Ti. Same thing with the RX 9070 XT. You will certainly be happy with that card. It will certainly do some great performance out there, especially when it comes to RDNA 4, which will be officially announced of Friday on the 28th of February. We can expect it, and we will have a way better idea of pricing. I wouldn't be surprised if pricing starts to leak probably 2 days before. Typically, it's always 2 days before. You will probably hear more of the pricing, but for more of the official release and you want to hear officially from AMD, it's 100% better to hear from their presentation on the 28th. We're all excited for it. I hope AMD does well. And really, the only key AMD really needs to be really competitive, against NVIDIA is really simple. Now, if you're wondering how often you should update your PC when it comes to gaming, honestly, you could keep a PC as long as I'd say up to, let's say about 6 years is probably a good lifespan. Now, that's if you're swapping out your GPU. If you constantly swap out your parts, you could really make it last up to 10 years. Now, if you're the type of person that doesn't mind swapping out a motherboard and a CPU and everything, you'll be fine. You'll have a PC for 10 years. I mean, you could really make it last at 15 if you really wanted to, because right now we're kind of at the area of where it's almost like we hit a certain limit. Now we're at the point, example, NVIDIA is a good example. Processors are a good example. They have to use more power to get more power. We're getting to that point. Now you need to get a RTX 5090 properly installed, you need to have a power supply that's over 1,000 watts, at least over 1,000 watts to really, because alone, the graphics card is 525 watts as it is. So it's drawing a lot of power as it is. So, and the same thing when it comes to processors. If you're to get now it's not the 9950 X3D, actually the 9950X, that draws more power, 170 watts. And then some of the Intel processors can go up to 220 watts. So it can draw a lot of power. So more than likely, if you do a build currently, it can last a maximum, I'd say, of like 10 years of being maintaining it, to constantly update parts of it, you can certainly make it last that long. Is about 10 years for sure. Now 5 years is if you're very focused on. Yes. You know what's funny, and I'm sure everybody's noticed this too, because I've even done it on more recent AMD processors, is that now you want to start undervolting. The key is undervolting. Nobody wants to overvolt anymore because it's just too much power. It's getting to the point where it's just getting too ridiculous. We don't need to try to keep burning up our energy. I'm sure you've seen the electric bills, especially when you get a more, you get a card where it takes a lot more power. It's pretty annoying when that happens, because then it's just like, it's a big jump. You'll notice a big jump in your electric bill, 100%, if you go for a RTX 5090. Let alone you're running a, say, a 1600 watt power supply with the 12 volt high power port. And then on top of it, if you want to overclock. Now, if you want to overclock, you can imagine I wouldn't even overclock. Again, that's why we're going back to undervolting. Trying to get the same amount of power, but undervolting. That is a much more fair way of doing things. You want to undervolt your CPU, that is best. You want to undervolt your GPU, 100% better too, because then as long as if you get the performance, because honestly, do you really care for those 5 extra frames and burning another 5 or 10 extra watts all together throughout your system, through your RAM, through your processor, through your GPU? Would you want to really honestly burn more power? Do you want to do more power? You want to go less, but get better performance. So now we're all more about efficiency and power at the same time, because it's almost like the manufacturers are getting to the point where, like, if you want to get more power, just add more power. Because think of it, because the RTX 40 series, they were on the, 3 nanometer. And now when it comes to the, I'm sorry, not the 3 nanometer, we're on the 5 nanometer. When we go to the RTX 50 series, same thing. We just added more power to it. That was it. So that was where everybody kind of lost sight of it, including me. I honestly thought the RTX 50 series was going to be this big game changer. But when it came to, but really it wasn't a large game changer, it just ended up taking a lot more power. A good GPU, the power, honestly, any GPU is really good to compare to pair up with a 9800 X3D. If you're looking to get some decent gaming, honestly, you can go RTX 5070 Ti. You can go RTX 5080. You could go RX 9070 or XT. That's going to be a great card. I'm sure of it. Now, as I was saying earlier too, if AMD could just do this one ingredient, this one formula, it's really simple. It's not even about having more power. It's honestly not about that. It's all about having the supply. If AMD could just get the supply right, they could certainly do better than NVIDIA. Because if NVIDIA doesn't have the supply and everyone wants to build a PC, why would you want to wait for a RTX 5090? Are you really going to wait another 2 months to get a GPU, just say? By then, you're gonna wanna get a RX 9070. And you'll be more than happy with it. And everybody will think to themselves, why did I even think about getting a RTX 50 series? I know some of the arguments are that AMD has problematic software. But honestly, NVIDIA's software hasn't been doing that great either. If you notice, it's when they switched over. What's up, Leland? Welcome to the stream. But if you noticed about especially when it comes to, damn, I just lost my train of thought. Forgive me for that. If you noticed about the about AMD's RX 9070 XT, where was I? If you notice about the RX 9070 XT, they didn't really show it at CES or anything like that because they wanted to really compete against NVIDIA. They wanted to compare to the pricing. Once they heard NVIDIA's pricing, it kind of scared them, especially when it came to the 5070. It was really hard for them to compete against a $600 card. Is it really worth $600? You're not really paying that much of a difference when it compares to, say, the yes, exactly. Like what a path to someone says. He had the card for the 6600 XT for 4 years, and he's never had a problem with the drivers or anything like that. Exactly. And that's the thing. Oh, that's what I was saying. NVIDIA's software, to hop back on that subject, NVIDIA software and AMD software is honestly not that far apart right now. Because when they upgraded to this whole new app, the NVIDIA app, everybody has the new NVIDIA app now, I'm sure. Especially if you have a RTX card, you more than likely downloaded their new app, but that was having problems. For example, with these blacked out drivers. It didn't only specifically affect the RTX 50 series, but it also affected the RTX 30 and 40 series. So you're spending all this money and you're getting a problem, especially for those who do have the 50 series, and now your HDMI doesn't work, your DisplayPort doesn't work, and now you have to send it in to try to get a BIOS flash. But again, Miguel from NVIDIA, he specifically stated that there is a new BIOS out there, a new video BIOS for those cards, so you don't have the issue. But why even go through the issue and spend $2,000 on a card where you shouldn't have to worry about that? Imagine when you get a RX 9070 and it doesn't have that issue. And it just works. It does exactly what it does. AMD gives you the supply that you need, and it works exactly as intended. You just want a game. You don't want to mess with driver updates and try to figure out exactly what the issue, let alone have your PC go up in flames because you just spent, imagine you spent $2,000 to watch your PC go in flames. That's ridiculous. You're spending a lot of money on a card where it just doesn't make sense. And it still doesn't make sense, especially for some of these RTX 5090s being well over $3,000. Explain that to me. I don't know why someone will still want to spend that money just to get the latest and supposedly, allegedly greatest card when the RTX 4090 honestly isn't that far behind. So would it make, it's like saying this, would it make more sense if the RTX 4090 is worth more than the RTX 5090? Just because it can outbeat it in certain aspects. Would that make a lot of sense? Originally, again, it was priced at $1499 for this card for the RTX 4090. Now, should you mark up the price to $2,000 because now it's almost comparable to a RTX 5090? It doesn't make any sense. So if you want to get the RX 9070, I wouldn't blame anybody for doing that because it's getting to the point where NVIDIA is not really listening to their customers. They released it at a really bad time towards the Lunar New Year's and almost created this illusion to where their cards are so great that they're selling out, but across all micro centers across the US, they only had a total of a little bit over 276 cards or something like that. This is nationally, this is across the US. You're talking about 350 million people in the US. Now, not all of them are into PCs, of course, but I'm sure it's more than 276 people that are into PCs. So you get a problem when it comes to supply, and you get a problem when it comes to scalpers, and now you can't even enjoy PC gaming. It takes away the joy, and that's not what you want, especially when it comes to PC building. You want the key of it was to be able to buy what you want. Back then, it was a lot easier to go into the store and purchase a graphics card of your choice without issue. Now, I'm sure some of you remember those days where you could walk into Best Buy and you could pick up a GTX. Remember the GTX? That's what the great cards were before, GTX. So you were able to pick up a GTX with no problem. But now you can't even walk into a Best Buy. Best Buy is just terrible nowadays. They're pretty much useless. The only decent parts that you can get from Best Buy are from what you buy online. But now, Micro Center, that's more of a better place to purchase your items, but they still don't have the supply themselves, and that's supposed to be a PC superstore. And you can't even get the graphics cards or anything that you want because NVIDIA was unable to provide the supply that they were supposed to give. But for all those who are tuning in and those who are trying to get the 50 series, the latest rumor currently is that the RTX 5090 will have a lot more supply on March 14th. And that's more of the insider information from what I know. It should be coming in a lot more supply to the point where scalpers will feel like, why am I trying to sell this on eBay? Because that's how much more supply that they are supposed to get of RTX 5090s. So hopefully that remains true. And it's not just the 5090s, it's the 5080s as well. I'm not too sure where the 5070 Ti's and the 5070 will fall in line with it. But for sure, everything about with the AMD side, when it comes to the RX 9070 and the RX 9070 XT, is more of the unknown. So we're not too sure exactly how it's going to be when they release their cards there. But now I'm just seeing, it's funny because now I'm just starting to see the others comments here. But there is a lot of, there is certainly going to be a lot of drama between AMD and NVIDIA, certainly, when it comes to these GPUs. And you know what would bring up the competition a lot more, and it would be interesting, is once Intel really steps up and starts doing things. They actually start, because again, Battle Mage was a decent card. So if they could just have an equivalent, if they could just compete with the likes of NVIDIA, just imagine how much better Intel will do. Now I know a lot of people don't like, or just probably scoff at Intel because they have really been looking like a clown for the past few years, especially when it came to the 15th gen. But honestly, they have improved, especially with their upcoming processors. For those who haven't heard, their 18A is supposed to be very competitive. The density is very competitive to the TSMC's 2nm chipsets. And hopefully that is true, because then we could use more competition, because that's what we need when it comes to the PC market. You don't want one to become more dominant than the other, because we saw what happened with NVIDIA. When one becomes more dominant than the other, especially over AMD and over Intel, they can price it wherever they want. They put the RTX 5090 at $2,000 because they can. And what's really different about the RTX 5090? The wattage. Because really it's the same chipset, kind of. Sure, it's Blackwell, but it is, they're running at the same node. It's the 5nm node. So it's really no different compared to Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace is also 5nm. It's just pushing more wattage. That was it. But we are willing to spend the $2,000 or $3,000 for it. But for those who are just tuning in here and is curious about what was inside the box, it was ASUS's LC360 Prime. This is what came in. Can't wait to do a PC build with you guys. Still debating whether to do it live stream. It'll be kind of messy doing a live stream, but I don't mind it. If you guys would rather see a live stream, I'm more than happy to do that for you guys. And this also came in a B850, which is a great motherboard to go with. It is ASUS's tough gaming line. They are great. This is a great combination because it has like a space gray look to it. And you can get a really wonderful gaming PC for a really low price. What you're just gonna pay most for is a GPU. Honestly, with the GPU, you can just pair these two. Pair this two with a RTX 5070 Ti, just say, because you have a little bit more extra money to spend on a Ti, you will certainly be more than happy with that type of build. You will be 100% more happy with that type of build compared to a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. you will see a lot more frames, and you will be able to be 100% more competitive when it comes to first-person shooters, and you certainly have the advantage for those wondering. From those that are coming from console gaming over to PC, you will certainly see a difference. Now, some people may have a preference when it comes to mouse and keyboard versus controller. Either one's great, because really what matters is not really about the input when it comes to PC gaming, because now a lot more modern gamers, they actually use controllers more often. But again, it's not about that. It's more about when it comes to the actual input, when it comes to PC gaming, because it will give you the response that you are looking for. You will have the first catch. You will catch the first movement. You will see somebody before they see you. So you certainly have an advantage when it comes to, say, crossplay, or someone that has a really, what is also important is a monitor too, because you want to have a high refresh rate monitor, and that way you will certainly 100%, 110%, because I already said 100%, 110% have more of the advantage when it comes to gaming. So for everybody out there, I really appreciate everyone who has joined this stream. I really thank you guys, because you guys made a big difference. I certainly have a couple more packages coming in this week. I don't know exactly when, but just be prepared around this time. Same time, like around 7:30 Eastern. So it's going to be, what, 4:30 Pacific time it would be. I will certainly do more unboxings, because I'm certainly expecting more this week, and hopefully a GPU does come in. If it does, it would be awesome. I will be more than happy to show it to you guys if it does. But thank you everybody who has joined in. Make sure, if you're just tuning in, make sure to give that thumbs up to whichever platform you are watching on. And on top of it, make sure you go down to subscribe, or feel free to follow. I am more than happy to help and talk to everyone out there. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you soon. Hopefully sometime sooner than later.